Let's wait for a few more people to show up. For some reason it won't let me add the book. I don't know if I didn't start to live write or something. I don't know. Hey, thanks for stopping by. We'll wait a few minutes before we get started. Give everybody a chance to show up. Hey guys, thanks for stopping by. Just give it a few minutes. Let a few people show up. Oh, Leslie, I see you made it. Guess you got out of your appointment early, huh? You almost forgot your appointment, or you forgot it's 2:00 now? Now, a lot of what I'm going to go over today, I, honestly, you know, my wife Shauna, she's on the live today. She clicked in. Oh, you forgot. Of course, you forgot the time zone. My wife's in here, Island Braids there. So everybody, give a shout out to Shauna, because initially, I had the same idea for what I was going to cover today, but I wasn't going to title it anywhere near as interesting, and Shauna gave me the idea as far as how to title it, because I tend to be I tend to be kind of dry. I just, tend to be all about business or whatever, because I like making money, that's just me. But the thing about it, that, people tend to forget is that we all have issues. And I'm going to be the first to admit that I have issues. And that's one of the things that I wanted to address. And today, how do you get off your ass when you can't get out of bed? It's a lot of people, especially in some of the crazy times that we live in today, depression, anxiety, they're really, really bad. And, so I want you guys to know when I talk about this is not something that I read in a book. Okay. This is something I literally wrote a book on, because, as I write a lot of books. Writing is very therapeutic for me. And, that's a book on one of my very low days when I couldn't get up. That's what I did, was I wrote. And it was kind of like, okay, if I couldn't do the things that I knew would help me, at least I could think about them. I could talk about, I could put them down on paper, and in thinking about them, it could kind of help, kind of like Thomas the Train Engine, I think I can, I think I can, I think I can. And, it helped get things moving. So by the end of the day, I was in a little better shape. But, when I was 6, I went through something that no kid should have to go through. We all have our stories, and that's not what today's about. I shouldn't have had to deal with it. I did. I survived. But survival has a way of showing up all throughout your life. I've lived a good life, a successful life, a full life. But I've dealt with depression my whole life. That's just been part of my life. I depression and suicide, it's just been it's been part of my life. It always has. That doesn't stop me from being successful, though. And that's what I want to share with you guys is, how do you get off your ass when you can't get out of bed? Because sometimes it can get bad. But I want to remind you guys, you're not broken. You're human. And a lot of times when you're struggling with things, it's so easy to think you're alone. You're the only one like this. And guess what? You're not. Because if you want to look at statistics, you'll find that most of the people out there are struggling with some kind of garbage. It may not be the same garbage as you, but pretty much everybody's messed up with something. So don't let people fool you just because when you see them walking down the street and they look fine, they're not. They're carrying just as much shit as you are. It's you got shit in both hands and your nose itches. What are you going to do? And that's life. And that's the life that we live. And nobody tells you this. You love your family, but you can have success. You can be grateful. You can still wake up on some mornings feeling like your body weighs 1,000 pounds. But you can do this. You really can. You really can. And this book, you can get it in my TikTok shop. You can get it on my website. You can get it on Amazon. If you go to my website, you can get an instant download. And it has just a lot of just the basic daily things that you can do to help deal with things. One of the things that I didn't know most of my life is the 5-minute rule. A lot of times when somebody is in that, hey Keisha, nice to see you there on YouTube. When somebody's in that that critical moment, when it just feels like they can't take any more, studies have shown that moment usually doesn't last for more than an hour. And most people don't plan that moment. It's usually just, they just can't take anymore. So if you find somebody and they feel, you get the sense that they're at that moment, or you're at that moment, don't try to make it through the night. Don't focus on that. Focus on 5 more minutes. Because if you can do 5 more minutes and just 5 more minutes, all you have to do is make it an hour. And you've made it to the next day. Because studies show that it's usually just an hour. So make it 5 more minutes and you may have just saved a life. But anyway, the book goes through a lot of things like that, like the 5-minute rule and grounding techniques and stuff like that. But that's not what I wanted to go over today. Because a lot of that kind of stuff you can learn in therapy and all different sorts of stuff. And one thing that I've learned is when you go and you talk to a therapist, all this stuff, invariably, it always, I wish you guys could raise your hand because you're all going to agree. It always comes down to medications. And not that I'm against medications, but sometimes it can really mess you up. And they all have side effects, So I had a recent situation where this has been a rough year for me. I'm just gonna be straight. It's been a rough year. And my doc had put me on a new medication and to try to help me out. And I'm telling you what, it messed up my memory bad. And I had stopped taking it. So then now I'm having, back where I started. And one night driving home with my wife and one of our friends, driving across the bridge, I had a hard time making it across that bridge. Not gonna lie. And you guys know what I'm saying. And when I told my wife about that, she didn't take that well. And I realized I had to do something. So I got to thinking, all the drugs that they give you, your body can make all those. Your brain can make all of those drugs. All of the drugs they give you, your brain can make them. The difference is that when your brain makes them, it makes them without side effects. So I asked myself, I said, and here's where we get to, how do you get off your ass when you can't get out of bed? I said, how do I get my brain to start making dopamine, serotonin, endorphins on a daily basis to get me out of this pit of mud that I'm in so that I can get back to the person that I want to be? And this is, this is not, end all fix all. It's just different for everybody. I'm not saying don't talk to your doctors. I'm not saying don't take meds. Please understand that. But know that anything that you do for 28 days creates a new habit. I don't know if you guys knew that or not. But if you do something for 28 days, it forms a new habit, good or bad. But if you do it for 28 days, it's locked in. It's done. So this is what I did to reset. I said, okay, I set a goal at the end of what I was going to do after 30 days to reward myself. And I said, in order to get there, no alcohol. I'm going to get up in the morning because, I do my morning news every day. So I'd get up a little bit early. I'm going to do a heavy weight training because that's what I used to do, not just, but I'm serious, I used to do Gold's Gym and all that, and then a brisk walk, start reading again, inspirational type stuff, keeping a journal again, going back to my healthier diet, eating routines, nothing fancy, nothing extreme, just consistent, because those things right there will reset and become, after a month, it's a habit. And like I said, this is different for everybody. Okay. This is, what I did. Okay. I'm not telling everybody you have to do heavy lifting. Okay. But I mean, if you go to ChatGPT and you ask ChatGPT, what can you do to release dopamine, serotonin, endorphins, there's a whole list of things. I mean, a hug, a lengthy hug releases, I think, endorphins, I mean, there's a long list of things. I didn't even know. Did you know a cold shower releases, feel good drugs, skin to skin contact? There's a long, long list. But the thing is, of all these things, we normally don't make a habit out of them. We do them once in a while, whatever, But, pick the things that will work for you, make a habit out of them, and you can reset, because there's two things that happen. One, your mind is releasing these feel-good drugs, so your body begins to feel better. But the other thing is, because your doing these activities, emotionally, you begin to feel better about yourself because you're seeing, hey, I can do this. The first part of this is you have to say, I'm better than my depression. I'm stronger than my depression. I can push through my depression. My depression doesn't define me. I can live through my depression. And I'm not going to let my depression define me or overcome me. It's not like it is gone. It's not like it goes away. It's still there. It's still a part of your life. You know, you still have some up days, some down days. I'm bipolar too. So, you know, it's not that something just makes me sad. You know, it's just, this is my life. You know, I have some good days. It's not that sometimes I'm depressed. It's that I have some good days. My life is depression. It's trying not to go too far. That's my life. And so I just want to share with you guys that, if I can do this, and listen, I've been flat broke. I've been millionaire. I've gone, I went from worth less than 10,000 to worth more than 2 million in less than 2 years. I've been worth, I don't know. I've been back and forth, millionaire a few times. If I can do it when, I struggle, I couldn't. I mean, sometimes it's a struggle just to be alive. And if I could make it, then you guys can make it. Anybody can make it. I don't have some fancy college degree. I went to college as an adult after I'd already been a millionaire. So it wasn't my education that got me there. I just went because something to do. I actually went because I was thinking about going into the ministry. I did a pastoral internship and realized real fast that was not the life for me. Oh, sorry, Keisha, just saw your notes there. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, there isn't always an identifiable trigger. And yeah, sometimes the daily things that people take, like you said, taking a shower can, well, that's why I named the thing, like when you can't even get out of bed, because, I had, at one of my lowest points, I had this was, before Shauna and I were married. I had a service dog, and I had gotten up to let him out of the house, sat down, poured myself another drink because I was just going to climb inside that bottle. And a buddy of mine called to check on me. And he said, "How you doing?" And I couldn't even answer. And I could not answer. He said, "Okay, we're on our way over." If he and his wife hadn't come over, I don't know. But so yeah, I just, I want to encourage you guys because, we get online, we talk a lot of trash and we talk about all kinds of garbage and everything. At the end of the day, we really got to look out for each other and we got to look out for ourselves. But the more that you can do, if you struggle, the more that you can do to move yourself, get some sunlight. I mean, if you can take a walk, even if you can just step outside and just stand there for 5 minutes, if you can make yourself write something in a journal, anything. If you have anybody that you can have keep track on you, to check on you, if you know somebody that's struggling, check on them, because, God forbid somebody wouldn't have checked on me that day, but that's what it is, and I'm not trying to push stuff on you, but seriously, if you need some help, if you're not sure about, if you don't know the basic techniques on and how to deal with depression on a daily basis, I'm not a doctor. This is not written by a doctor. This is written from day to day for somebody that just tries to survive. This is how I survive. So, and it's, medication can only do so much. If you want to achieve like I've done in my life, it's right here. And this is not the, just get over it. No. Hear me close from my heart. If you struggle with depression, fine. But it doesn't have to own you. You can own it. And just say, today I'm doing more. Today I'm doing more. I'm doing more. And don't let it own you today. Even if you're depressed, who gives a shit? You can mop the floor when you're depressed. You can make a sales call when you're depressed. You can write a book when you're depressed. Lord knows I have. I've written several of them depressed. Yeah, like Keisha says, you can't just pick up yourself by your bootstraps. No, you can't. But you can say, I'm going to do a little bit more. You know, sure. You know, you're pushing yourself around on your ass, you know? But hey, that's what I have to offer. So it's, I don't know if that makes sense to anybody, but that's what works for me, because I mean, I'm 55 and still alive, and let me tell you, that's saying a lot. Any questions or comments? You're welcome, Brian. I think we would all do a little bit better if more people were real, because honestly, more people struggle with mental health than people realize. And if we realized how many people had mental health issues, there wouldn't be the stigmas, and we wouldn't feel so bad about the issues that we have. You know. So that's my opinion anyway. I don't remember the name of Thursday's podcast. I don't have it in front of me. But basically, what to do when all of your plans have shattered. Everything that you have, you know, in place fell apart. Which, for those of you that are here from the, went through the DIR thing, and I'm sure you can relate, because you were there thinking you're making a lot of money, and so. But anyway, so I hope that helps, and there's for those in YouTube, there's a link to my bookshelf, where you can get the download or the order the book, and for those on TikTok, you can get the Mind Doesn't Matter in my TikTok shop. Just the book. If you want the download, you have to go to my website, which there's a link there. So if nobody has any questions or comments, then yeah, I know the DR, when thanks, Keisha. When back in June, when I saw that it was a Ponzi scheme, and the reason that I put a video out that it was a Ponzi scheme was because I had seen what a Ponzi scheme could do. I lost my entire inheritance to a Ponzi scheme. And I was hoping to spare other people from that. But yeah, nobody believed me because, it looked too good to be true. Leslie stuck, depressed, and out of options. Yeah. Yeah, well, I just hope you guys got something out of it today. I just want to be encouraging to you guys. So you guys have been through a lot, and I just want you to. Oh, that's my next one. Stuck, depressed, and out of options. Okay, thanks. Nice to know somebody's paying attention. Yeah, Leslie may not know what time it is, but at least she knows what I'm talking about. No, I mean, they had a pretty polished thing, and it seemed there seems to be that there may have been a connection to that Chinese lady that they nailed over in Europe that got billions of dollars. It seems like the she may have been the one running all the servers and stuff behind DIR. So, because when I was actually doing some research, this is a while back now. The it's probably a month ago. I was trying to do some research on DIR to see, hey, what's going on or whatever, and just the way that I worded it, just trying to dig in to try to find out more research, because sometimes if you want to find out information, you kind of have to dig sideways sometimes, because if you go too direct, you're just going to get the same information. I don't know if that makes sense, but for a research guy like me, if you put it in too direct, you're just going to get the same information. I was like cracking the thing on Mondami's $230 million grocery store thing. It took me a while to crack where that information was coming from. But eventually I found the original Facebook post on that. Anyway, it was through there that, I found the connection to the Chinese lady. But when in trying to find news information, like actual information that was posted about DIR, I was shocked. Nobody was reporting. There was no news channels, and at the time, there was more information about DIR on my website than I could find anywhere else on the web. And I'm like, how is this possible? I mean, as much damage as they've done, how can nobody be talking about them? It blew my mind. But I don't know. And, sad to say, but I guarantee the people behind DIR are just rebranding they probably already rebranded and have rolled out something new and have already started on a whole new line of victims, because that's the way they work. They don't stop. They don't stop. The in the Ponzi scheme that my dad got hit by, the guy, there's the guy that left the country. We never even found out who he was, so I never heard from him. But the guy that went to prison lost his financial license. When he got out, he was doing financial services under somebody else's license, which is totally illegal. And I don't think he was out 5 years before he ended up in prison again. The guy was in and out like 3 times. He just kept going back to prison. I don't know that they were all Ponzi schemes. I don't know what all they were, because good Lord, I wouldn't even talk to the guy, but and I know there was, because I knew him at church, there was one woman at the church that ended up going to jail for, she was doing like bookkeeping. She went to jail for embezzling funds. Got out, got hired at another church for embezzling funds, as a bookkeeper, and went to jail for embezzling funds again. I knew one person worked in accounting at a company. All of a sudden, she disappeared. Found out she went to prison for embezzling funds. They got her for $10 million, and she paid it back. Now, you tell me, if you were able to pay back $10 million, how much do you think they actually stole? Probably a lot more. They just didn't find it all. But yeah. Anyway, I will let you guys go, and I will see you Thursday, if not before, for Stuck, Depressed, and Out of Options. So, and hopefully we won't get quite so emotional Thursday. So don't forget to follow so you can stay in touch. And thanks, Brian. You have a blessed day too. And we'll see you soon. Thanks again.